counter it? No. Incinerator for one. Woohoo! That's awesome. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. Today we have a home-brewed mono red deck. We're going to our roots, you guys. If you've been following the channel since my birth, you know how much I love mono red. It was the first deck I ever made it to Mythic with. So we're back. Today we've kind of made a custom blend. Now I know LVD did make a mono red deck around Chandra's Incinerator, so this might be similar, but I've not watched the video, I haven't looked at his list, so there should be some differences here, and I think this is a very good base version. I am interested to see what differences he had in his, so we're going to compare later on, and it's best of one today. I do have a sideboard list of cards for you guys to check out, potentially make it a best of 3 deck, or if you're missing some of the cards within this deck, you can fill them with the cards in the sideboard. So when we wrap up the video after everything, we're gonna come back, we're gonna talk about an upgrade guide, potential alternative build routes for the deck, just to make sure that you can still play this archetype without having the exact amount of rares within the list, everything like that, right? As always, we're taking a look at the deck list, each individual card, what do they all do? Then we're into the deck's strategies and synergies. How do all of those individual cards work together to form a tight-knit, well-operating archetype? And then we're going to get into today's gameplay footage where we break down all of the different play lines and interactions within the new Core Set 2021 meta. So that's a lot of fun. You get to learn how the deck will interact with the other decks within the new environment that we're all playing in, right? So that's going to be a lot of fun. As always, if you find any value, hit me with a thumbs up and share this video to a friend. The deck starts out with 4 copies of Fervent Champion. This is a 1/1 with First Strike and Haste. Whenever Fervent Champion attacks another target attacking knight you control, gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Equip abilities that target Fervent Champion cost 3 less to cast. 4 copies of Goblin Arsonist. This is a 1/1, and when it dies, you may have it deal 1 damage to any target. 3 Shocks, an instant. Shock deals 2 damage to any target. Onto our 2 drops. 2 copies of Heartfire. This is another instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. Heartfire deals 4 damage to any target. Chandra's Pyreling, a 1/3. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Pyreling gets +1/+0 and gains double strike until end of turn. 3 copies of Bonecrusher Giant. This has Stomp, which is another 2 cast. That's why we bring it up first. It's an instant. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. And then onto the 3 drops, Bonecrusher Giant is a 4/3, and whenever he becomes the target of a spell or ability, just a spell, not ability, it will deal 2 damage to that spell's controller. 4 copies of Light Up the Stage. Now we have a lot of spells in this deck with Spectacle. You may cast this spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent has lost life this turn. Right, so Light Up the Stage, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. And again, we're casting this for 1 if we've already dealt damage this turn. Same goes with Skewer the Critics. Sorcery deals 3 damage to any target. Slaying Fire is an instant, dealing 3 damage to any target. However, when you spend at least 3 red mana to cast this spell, it will deal 4 damage, and it's a mono red deck, so we will always be using that. So Slaying Fire dealing 4 damage. Subira, Tulzidi, Caravanner, I have no idea how to pronounce this. This is a 2/3 with Haste. We can pay 1. Another target creature you control with power 2 or less cannot be blocked this turn. We can also pay 2 plus tapping her to discard your hand until the end of turn. Whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, we're going to get to draw a card. 2 copies of Chandra, Heart of Fire. This is a legendary planeswalker with 5 loyalty, +1 ability. Discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play cards exiled this way, +1 again. Chandra's Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target, and then -9. Search your graveyard and library for any number of red instances and sorcery cards. Exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn. Add 6 red mana symbols. Of course, we also have Chandra's Incinerator. This is a 6-drop for 6/6, Trample. It costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponent this turn. And then whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. These spells are accompanied by 17 mountains and 3 Castle Empress. There's no sideboard today. We're playing best of 1. Let's begin to break down the deck strategies and synergies. How do all of these cards work together? The primary build was around Chandra's Incinerator and Chandra's Heart of Fire. So This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage you've done this turn. So the deck is really around making use of non-combat damage. We do also see Chandra's Pyreling. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Pyreling gets +1/+0 and gains double strike until end of turn. So whenever we are dealing non-combat damage, Chandra's Incinerator becomes cheaper, easier to get into play, and then Chandra's Pyreling becomes much stronger and gains double strike. So that's going to be dealing explosive damage. Now, we do come into a little bit of a mishap here where our non-combat damage needs to hit our opponent to trigger these. It cannot hit their creatures. However, we still want to keep our attacking lanes clear so that our Chandra's Pyreling can get in uncontended on our opponent with double strike, ideally, right? So it's a little bit of a workaround. You're really going to have to balance whether you're burning your opponent directly or whether you're mitigating his creatures on the field, and grasping this concept while you're doing it so you know how you're going to have to finish the game, right? Because you may just need to play a standard aggro match with the creatures, with removing the creatures, keep board presence and kill your opponent. However, if your opponent doesn't have a big board state, now we have the option, instead of just falling prey to Shatter the Sky, oh no, build up creatures, shatter the sky, build up creatures, shatter the sky, right? Now we can kind of hold back, burst out non-combat damage, and then get value from it. So when we're bursting non-combat damage, our control opponents have a tendency to counter our burn spells, right? Because they don't want to take damage, which then gets rid of the spells and will allow some of our higher value cards, such as the Incinerator or Chandra's Heart of Fire, to be able to make it into play, which is really cool. So everything here does non-combat damage. The Arsonist, when it dies, deals 1. Shock deals 2. Pyreling takes advantage of it. Heartfire, you have to sacrifice, and it deals 4. If we sacrifice the Arsonist, that's going to be dealing 5 damage. So that is a huge chunk. Just with that simple play, we're able to cast our Chandra's Incinerator for 1, right? So that's a very high value play here. Bonecrusher Giant is dealing non-combat damage. Light of the Stage just helps us draw after we've done non-combat damage. Skewer the Critics, more non-combat damage. The only bad thing here is we have to cast it after another burn spell right out of the gate, because Spectacle normally is triggered with our attack phase, and then we're not buffing up our Pyreling before it attacks, it'll be after. So Skewer the Critics, we may have to cost sorcery speed just to trigger it. If not, we can activate it with more things like Slaying Fire. The Caravanner is really nice. It can create an unblockable Chandra's Pyreling, right? Because it's 2 or less originally, so you can make it unblockable. Once it's unblockable, you can hammer in your opponent with non-combat damage, like we talked about. The Shocks, the Bonecrusher Giants, Skewer the Critics, Slaying Fire, Chandra, all of these things, you can do non-combat damage to your opponent once you've already given the Pyreling unblockable. And at that point, it can attack with unblockable, with double strike, and with it being buffed up, which is just going to be like an automatic kill command unless they can bounce it, something like this, right? So that's another really cool synergy within the deck. We can also use his 1-cost ability, and then, 2 and tap, and then we're discarding our hand, and then whenever we attack with a creature with power 2 or less, we get to draw a card, which is really great. Draw a couple cards into your hand really, really helps. And then Chandra's Pyreling. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls, right? So you can deal your damage to your opponent and then also deal that much damage to one of their creatures or planeswalkers, right? So this is a great way to basically get 2-for-1s on your spells. It doesn't always trigger, but boy golly is it ever nice to deal 4 damage directly to your opponent's face with a Slaying Fire, and then deal also that damage to his questing beast or something, right? Or maybe his planeswalker. So it's a very cool way to continue the burn right in the henhouse on your opponent's health points while still maintaining field dominance, because you're able to pick things off accordingly, right? So your opponent's not really building up on the field while you're just trying to go over top of them. It's a great way for you to control the entire match. So this is mono red mid-range / aggro. I'll call it mono red non-combat damage for all intents and purposes. Thanks for watching, you guys. I am live on Twitch every morning, 6 a.m. PST, and then live on YouTube an hour earlier around 5 a.m. PST. So come say hello, come drop in. I'd love your company. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the video, hit the bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads, And then it's really important that you guys share this content to your friends also playing Magic the Gathering Arena, just to help grow the channel, support me. I really appreciate your continued time and attention. And if you're not looking to support me financially, then this is an absolute bomb way to do so, just to show your gratitude. So again, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Take care. Enjoy today's gameplay footage. We have a lot of really cool matches and a few misplays that we learned from as well, but you can't be perfect every day. And then we're going to look at our sideboard, talking about alternative build routes for you guys in case you don't have all of these individual cards. So stay tuned. Don't forget to watch to the end. Take care, enjoy, and we'll talk to you in a few minutes. All right. A lot of removal here. We have an Incinerator. I guess we could risk it for the biscuit. So if we can get an attack through double Skewer, we can play our Incinerator. Does he counter it? No. Incinerator for one. Woohoo! That's awesome. Oh, Terror of the Peaks, though. Coming at ya. We have to deal non-combat damage. We can just kill it. So let's just eat him for 4. And then the Incinerator deals 4 to the Terror. Isn't that incredible? Oh my lord, and we attack for lethal. Hello, good game. Ooh. We go first. I actually kind of like that. 2 Caravanners, so maybe one of them gets removed. We'll see though. Ooh, that's good. No 2-drops, kind of hurts. Interesting. Yeah, let's go for it. We'll keep the champion to defend against Child of Night. So who do we kill? The Aerialist? We can pay 1 to have him unblockable. And then we have 3 left over. That's the play. Then we can Skewer the Aerialist. And Bonecrush Knight of the Legion. I think that's a pretty good turn. We burn through our hand, but I think we really deal with his game plan nicely. And he kills our Caravanner, which was our game plan originally. Oh! 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 We get to plus Chandra to kill this child. Bingo, bango, bongo. Hit for 1. I don't think he's got any haste. He could have that flash rogue for 1. That could have gotten us a little bit. We can plus on this as well. Loving it. Building our field presence here. In for 3. Ooh, the Soren's really nice, but alone he does nothing. Okay. He could sack it to kill something. Just gives it lifelink. Which is fine. Let's kill it this way. Then we're discarding our hand here. Do we have to deal combat damage to a player? Yes. Let's just take the absurd draw here. Leave his Soren alone. Screw it. Daddy wants some cards. Down to 9. Whatever. Let's get our Bonecrusher out. We got a very healthy field presence. So. I mean, Child of Night does nothing. This Vampire also does nothing. Chandra's almost ready to minus. Okay, he is sacrificing. He's going to deal 3 damage to one of our giants. Sure. Let's kill this vampire. Chandra's Plus is doing a ridiculous amount of work here. And then we take our draw engine as well, discarding our empty hand, hitting our opponent in the choppers. Can we stack this ability? No. That would be cool. Alright, that's perfect actually. Life stage. Juicy. Just spazzing out. It's been a long time since I've been able to play mono red like this. It feels so good. When wizards were a thing, get 2 lava runner. Mono red was my jam. The first deck I pushed into top mythic with was an original mono red deck. It was great. It used Mizum tank or Mizium tank, something like this. It was cool. All right, guys, we're gonna mulligan. We only have 1 land. This hand is about as bad as that guy's name. That's all I'm gonna say. 3 land is a little heavy for here. Let's toss 1. 2 works great. Ooh, and we draw 1 there, so makes sense. Let's get our non-haste creature in first. Growth Spiral, probably. Could be a quench. I doubt it, though. Oh, an Aether Gust. Is that really worth it? I guess it can stay on top. It's not great, but it's a creature. Uro. Uro. If you could instant exile Uro, that'd be sick. This is an instant as well, which is quite nice. We need to kill him before Uro actually hits the field, though. This will be his 3rd engrave. Hydroid Crisis is our worst fear. Right, casting it for 3. Why do I say these things? Too much land, boys. Too much land on this dance floor, that's for sure. Basically nullifying most of the damage. We get 1 through, but he's drawing card, playing a land every time. So that's gross. Oh! We meant to go past first strike damage. Normally you have to go past that. Whatever. We'll just full cast cost it. Full cost cast it. We're having a meltdown. That one doesn't escape, does it? Oh, it does. Good, good, good. Oh, he can just play another one. Oh no, he doesn't have the island. Okay. It's still a match somehow.
Truth lies beyond vision.
They still trigger. You should have done it before I attacked. He can just minus on it, but then we can kill it with Fervent Champion. But he plays his Uro too, so... There's just no getting around Uro with him on a red deck. Not only is it gaining life, ramping your opponent, but it's a 6/6 defender, right? How do you deal with that? Absolutely disgusting. Like... Oh, and he doesn't even want to use his Uro. He goes Ugin instead. Good game. Let's show ourselves out. So we get beat by the one and only Ugin via Uro ramp. Oof. And looks so-so. 2 lands, perfect. And just having 1 drops is really nice. Our opponent goes first. He's playing slow. Let's get our Arsonist out there. Which is Oven, so our Arsonist becomes a very nice sack outlet for him. I can't believe he didn't. So if he would have used his Oven to make the food there, Oven would have untapped right now, and Bonecrusher Giant would have been unplayable because it would have fizzled and not done damage. So we see the first misplay of the game made by our opponent. Do we throw our land? I don't want to throw the land. I'm going to throw the Heartfire. This is going to burn us, I'm sure, to reclaim the Firstborn. But I'm being greedy. I'm going Bonecrusher Giant. Cauldron's familiar, that's okay. So he's locked on lands. So he's chump blocking. To be expected. We get our 2 damage in. In our turn here. He waits till his turn to play the cat. Let's go in with it. Just spending our mana. Let's go Fervent Champion. It actually adds 3 damage, which is nice, rather than just 2, and then we still get to do an additional 2, which will total 5 damage. Okay. Again, you should have done that before the Fervent Champions clicked up. Ending our turn. He's landlocked, which is really, really good for us. There's his 3rd land. Let's see what he does with it. It could be a Mayhem Devil into some food sacrifices, which would suck. We are saving our Slaying Fire in case he does pull a Devil at some point. Let's take him down to 11. Let's keep haste in our hand. Let's throw out another Bonecrusher Giant. It's always good to have these Rakdos decks on the tail end, right? It sucks to allow them to be the aggressor. Really? You must have removal on the Giant. Okay. Five in his grave. Includes the cat and croaks it though. Oh no. Oh no. We have to immediately deal with this. Just is what it is. You can sack it, sure. Just get out of here. Get out of here, Luris. You dirty dog. Yeah, it's gonna get weird if he can play. He can, yeah. This is getting real weird. We have to get rid of our Incinerator so we can draw new hands with our Caravanner. And even then, we're only drawing 1. No way. This isn't good. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. Oh! We've been blessed. We truly have been blessed. You can chump block with the cat again. We need more attackers, or he will just survive chump blocking, right? We have to make it work. And still, how do we deal with this Kroxa? Having to double turn on Lura sucked. We know he's coming. It's worse. It's Kroxa Terror. Can we get a third? What is the new one called even? It's like something spear. Slaying Fire. We need a third Slaying Fire, kids. Just 1 damage here. He'll kill my Fervent Champion. So we've actually been flirting with this deck idea a lot, because we did the Uro and Terror. We wanted to really do Kroxa and Terror. Jump block with the cat again. These Rakdos matches are long and slow. Oh, my phone died. That's not healthy. RIP. I'm currently out of the service area. Please call again later. Alright, bro. You've already won the game. I'm just trying to see your deck to showcase it to my audience so they can see it. I know it's good. I know it works. Play your Kroxa, deal 6 damage, make me discard my Incinerator. Come on. Sleep, sleep. Wow. So what? Oh, that was from his hand. I thought that was from his grave. I was like, how did he get that out for 2? Very nice. And he's instant speed, sacking it again. 6 damage right to the chinny chin. And then he attacks for a bulk amount. We can chump block, obviously, with our Aerialist, but too little, too late. And he can just nuke us next turn, right, by playing these Kroxas. Isn't there that new, or not new, but that red spell? It's like you slay a red target, and if it wasn't red, you sack a land. That would be great sideboard against Terror of the Peaks, right? And then you could just instant speed, pop his Terror off, take your 3 damage, screw it. Yeah. Go get them, boys. We're already out of mana, so I just kind of like to see what we would pull off the top if we got a chance to pull again. Yeah. So this is to be expected. 1 damage. Get him down to 10, why not? Right, do you think he'll be able to finish us this turn? Right? No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes when you do get these good decks, it's nice to make sure that you can get the line you want to work out, and that's the exact deck that I wanted to make. So it's really cool to see it in the meta before I actually got to go out and showcase it. That's awesome. Opponent goes first, 3 lands, pretty heavy, but our hand looks semi-decent. He's gonna take our Caravanner. Oh, it takes Bonecrusher Giant. So he might have a Thief of Sanity. That's what that says to me out loud. Pays life for Narset.
My prowess is
Do we kill her?
unmatched by my
No.
peers. Put thoughtfulness before action.
Let's draw the land instead. Yes. So he's gonna kill our Caravanner. But whatever.
I have reached my limit.
This is probably his whole turn though. Let's get that damage in. Light up the stage is awesome here. Let's hold our shock up. Just looking at our graveyard. What the heck? Look at your own graveyard. Okay. We could have Heartfired there, but I think we want to keep it. Let's go for it. Oh, we're supposed to Slaying Fire and then cast Skewer with his Spectacle cost. Oh my god, you guys. I need new glasses. Is he choosing Heartfire? We already used Skewer the Critics, bro. If we can pull a haste creature, we can do one. There it is. There it is. Yep. Unless he's got a counterspell. Got him. Alright. We're making a turn. We're going to win some games here now. Alright, 3 lands way too much. You know, we've been trying to showcase Chandra's Pyreling and the Caravanner here together. But it's pretty hard to get, even with 4 of each, it's hard to get them in the deck right away to showcase, especially with an aggro deck that finishes games pretty quickly, right? The Incinerator's great as well. Okay, okay. Just looking to... Is it Spell Us? Ooh, Prowess. This is not good. This is not good, boys. That's a 3/3 flyer. It's going to take a little bit to get through. We need a burn spell. There it is. It sucks. Spirit Dragon is still very good. Nice. Infuriate on top of them, too. That's hot. Down to 9. We need a burn spell. Are you serious? The guy's got 4 of a kind? What? What world do I live in? What the heck? I'm surprised you have an instant spell there to beat us. Takes all of our mana but 1 or 2. There's no way for us to deal that much damage. Cry. That's our only play. We need a land and a slaying fire. Not quite. Not quite. We get him down to, what, 8? We just kill a creature instead. If we could have had that earlier and gone a little bit of double strike on our Pyreling, that could have really helped us out, but beating 4 of these dragons is just like, holy. Might as well be floor flourishing foxes, right? This is way too much land for us. 2 is a lot better. 2 Pyrelings and Skewer the Critics. Plus the Arsonist does deal non-combat damage as well. So, I think we could potentially let it roll. Mono green's not, or mono blue's not good. Do we see a Spectral Sailor? Probably. Oh, an Opt, okay. A little bit less threatening. We could see a quench here. That would suck. Could be a potential flash blocker as well. We can deal 2 damage though if he does block, so it would have to have 3 toughness. Petty Theft to our hand, sure. He's going to try to counter it this turn, so we're not going to play our Pyreling. We're going to play multiple creatures, so we still receive value if he does try to counter them. Obviously now he can just flash in his Borrower, but we do need to just play around him, right? He has to double cast to go to 3. Let's try to pull the counter with our Light Up the Stage. And then we can Skewer the Cutthroat. He should counter it. Perfect. That is absolutely ideal. And hopefully there's not a second counter here. There shouldn't be. We're pushing our luck. Raising Borrower costs 3. We get him. Nice. We're not done yet, though. Let's try to pull a counter with our Pyreling. Three more damage in, which is nice. And let's remember these Arsonists do count as 3 more damage when they die as well. Brazen Borrower cannot block. We're at 20 life, so go hard. Can he tempo us out from here? Let's try to pull the counter. All right, down to 8. He does have more borrowers. Why wouldn't he have done that before we attacked? I'm not sure. Waiting for our turn to end because he was holding up a counter, I guess. It's for 6. So he is pushing ahead of us here. It's a land. This is going to be his last card. Let's try the Pyreling. If he has a counter, here it is. And then next turn we can free cast our Chandra. He absolutely has to, yeah. Down to 4. Lethal next turn. He needs a counter here, and even if he has it, he still loses. He's got a petty theft on our Pyreling. Oh, he counters it, bounces it, draws a card, makes a token. Nice. If anything was going to save him, it was that. Unfortunately for him, the Brazen Borrower can't block, so we still get lethal. Whew. Was not expecting that. Mono red. I think it's powerful. I think we can fine-tune it a little bit. We're going to do some play testing with this. I really like this. I think it's been a little bit since mono red has been this viable. And mono red got trapped in a place where it's like, well, you play Annex, you play Embercleave, and you play Torbrand. That's mono red. I get it. It's good. But it is deadly to have an alternative route. Excuse me. We're not even playing Steamkin, right? We're not playing Steamkin even. So there's a lot of really cool alternative builds that we could take with this deck. Some of them including Steamkin, which I think might be semi-beneficial, right? So we took a look at the deck. We talked about everything. Let's take a look at the sideboard that I've put together. Now you could take this into best of 3. I think it does maybe need a little bit more fine-tuning. However, I wanted to provide an alternative playstyle. So this particular sideboard, when taken in best of 3, is not meant to counter your opponent whatsoever. This is meant to confuse them. You attack aggro with one game plan, then you totally switch routes, still attacking with aggro, but you're totally using a different game plan, right? So we're using our Chandra's Incinerator, all of this non-combat damage to kill our opponent in our main board. Once we go best of 3 sideboard, we totally switch. We go classic mono red. We think he's going to try to deal with our Chandra, deal with our Incinerator, stuff like this. We have FYRE. That's our only defensive card here. Annex, Harden the Forge. If he's running field wipes and they work really good, we need our Annexes, and we just need to go old school, making those Annex tokens, making our Torbrands after and hitting just for lethal damage that way. We can also Embercleave our Annex, which is going to be very powerful. And then I like Legion Warboss, just in case it is one of those weird matches where we need to go wide. So Legion's Warboss is really good because it makes the 1/1s and then we can potentially sacrifice them. But for all intents and purposes, you're putting in the 4 Annexes every time. You're putting in the 4 Torbrands every time. You're putting in the 3 Embercleaves every time and sideboarding out all of your non-combat damage. So this means probably your Shock, your Chandra's Pyreling, your Slaying Fire, potentially Skewer the Critics as well. And honestly, I would be dropping Chandra's Incinerator as well. You could potentially keep Chandra Heart of Fire, but at this point you may as well just be dropping your Cleave, right? So this is not a specific sideboard guide for best of 3. This is kind of like a disruption guide. So if you do decide to take a best of 3, it is still there and you can build from this base. However, if you are missing some of the cards, say you've not got all of the Incinerators or something like this, right? Maybe you've only got 2 Caravanners. You can sub some of these other cards in their place. It's still a functioning, well-tuned deck, and then you're not worried about spending all of your wild cards just to make a weird off-brand deck that I'm showing you guys that's not maybe necessarily tier 1, right? This could be a tier 2 or 3 deck. So, with that all being said, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate your continued time and attention. Your support does not go unnoticed. Those of you supporting me financially, you're absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. make sure to join our Discord. We're in there all day. Links for everything, you guys, is in the description below. Check it out. Go snoop around. I guarantee you'll find what you're looking for. And if not, just yell for me. I'm always around, right? Thanks again. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow with some fresh content. All right, guys, take care. Peace.